Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's recording. Last week we were doing mainly Second Life based tutorials because of the whole impromptu 20% thing from IMVU. So that's why we didn't get to have this candle in the wind style recording last week. But here we are again with this whole candle in the wind style recording where we're going to present an issue and also give our take on the issue, or my take on the issue, rather. Then also, I'm just going to throw the question back to you, and then I hope is to get your responses in the comments. So for this week, right, because I want to have these style of videos, right, on just once a week, so it's not saturating the bulk of my channel, and also have different topics be on different days. So currently, if you are new, for starters, if you're new here, this is SOB 3D. Primarily, it's a 3D based channel, so 3D tutorials, 3D rendering, 3D gameplay videos. Then of more recent, you're obviously watching something 3D related right now, but the audio is what's varying. So before now, it just used to be like I talk about the process of the time lapse that you are watching, but now it's more of the audio is independent of the time lapse. Okay, so currently the schedule, the only thing fixed about the schedule is on Tuesdays, it's just tutorials, strictly tutorials on Tuesdays. Thankfully, that's been going on consistently for almost 2 months now. Then we have also Fridays strictly for culture, commentary, music related. I try to restrict Fridays too, but if something needs to override, like last week where the 20% thing blocked the main days of the week, and then on Friday I had to just comment on the 20% thing because I hadn't done any commentary throughout the week. I was even doing last week 2 videos a day to make sure that enough SL related content was published in due time. So yeah, that's what we do on this channel. More recent on Tuesdays, if you like 3D tutorials, check what we have out on Tuesdays. Then on every other day, it's either like motivational, like I did a motivational thing on Monday. Today is Wednesday. We're going to do the candle in the wind thing. And then what I mean by candle in the wind is I give out my take on an opinion, kind of holding it as a candle in the wind. The wind being your comments, your feedback. Will my candle still stand? Or will it be blown out by the wind? And then on Thursdays, my hope is to just comment on any breaking news. But depending on the breaking news, I may need to, sacrifice one day for reaction to breaking news. My hope is just that no breaking news falls on Tuesdays because I want Tuesdays strictly for tutorials. All right, so yeah, that's what we are. So today, I want to talk about the ordeal of supporting companies whose owners or whose activities as an organization do not align with your values. All right, so I don't want to call out specific companies and what they've done because I know that these companies can change and then this video will just feel dated in the long run. But let's, work with hypotheticals. Hypothetical company X is a music streaming service, all right? So something that's not necessarily essential to the fabric of a human being, but one of those secondary needs that we've developed as a society. Take, for example, internet access, okay? Music streaming service X, right? I, as a, I say non-conservative. I'm not sure the term to use, but let's just say I, as a person, really, right? The CEO of music streaming service X is a supporter of destructive affairs in a society that I, as a being, do not support. But because of the convenience of using music streaming service X, I find it difficult to detach. Okay, so I find myself trying other music streaming services. So I'm looking at music streaming service Y and music streaming Z. But, in comparison with pricing, convenience really, which is the big one for me, convenience, and also not necessarily features. Music streaming service Y has better features, even Z has better features, but the convenience, I work primarily on my laptop, and that is easy to use this said music streaming service X on. Music streaming service Y, I used it more when I used to be out often and didn't have access to my laptop. So my phone, it worked moderately well on my phone, although the recommendation system wasn't on par with music streaming service X, but it did its job in that regard. And I see headlines often about music streaming service Y, making updates, pushing out things and all of that. But then music streaming service X is always in the news for some bad reason or the other. They're either supporting some nefarious activity in some area or, promoting unethical music-based processes. Take, for example, another debate topic, maybe I'll look into this in some other Candle in the Wind episode, but the use of AI in producing music content, so automatically generated music content. I think something AGI or so is what's that called. So they're constantly promoting this kind of thing. They are also, like I said earlier, supporting nefarious activities in different parts of the world, directly or indirectly. And also, they don't even have great payouts for the artists on their platform, despite several calls and all of that. They also platform controversial people, all right? They partner often with controversial people. So, it's conflicting. It's conflicting. And I just wanted to share my thoughts on what said person, not necessarily just myself, but what said person in such a situation should do when they find themselves in a situation where their values conflict with the value system of a non-essential service that they support. Take, for example, great example, a music streaming service. In my opinion, I think it's best to migrate if you can, especially when it's a non-essential service. Okay, because like in this whole music streaming service case, literally most of the songs on X are the same one on Y. The only downside to Y for me really is convenience. It works badly on laptop. The interface on the web is so appalling to me. Not so appalling, but not as appealing as X, to be completely honest. There are things about why I prefer. I prefer the playlisting system. I prefer the library buildup of Y. But X hits the nail on the head with recommendations. That one, 100%. But Y is tailored more to what's already within my library or things that I have to actively seek new music on Y, whereas on X, it just feeds me. So X serves me very well in terms of being a music head and discovery in ways that I am often surprised. But obviously, X doesn't always hit the mark. Let's say 67% of the time is when X hits the mark. But why? Like, in terms of free range recommendation next to just 20% of the time, but it does an excellent job in that regard. So, and like I said, why always leans towards what's already in your library, things that it's clear as day you need to like in some form, recommending deep cuts off of albums that you've already listened to time and time again. It's so annoying using why at times. It feels so subpar, it feels so untrained. That's just where we are at in society, where we've gone from literally buying CDs, buying turntables, buying discs, having word of mouth travel through town to spread the virality of a record, to having, at this point, everyone has their own specific niche. And just a little comment on that. I saw in the US, the song Golden is at the top spot now. And also the following song, I think, is Alex Warren's The Ordinary. It's clear that those songs are just what I would call lowest common denominator kind of songs. And those are the only kinds of songs that can really sustain continuous streaming impact, except for the few pop stars that are still in the top 10. Like I think I saw Sabrina Carpenter and what's his name? This Justin Bieber. So pop stars who have garnered followings over the years that their fans are just the ones, keeping themselves at the top of the charts because they've built very large fan bases. But when it comes to new music topping the charts, right, it's predictably going to be lowest common denominator kind of music, because it has to be the kind of music that essentially anyone can listen to easily and can be recommended on the music streaming service without breaking the flow easily, which tends to be pop leaning kind of flow. So yeah, I listened to Golden. Golden is apparently from a soundtrack of a Netflix movie that I'm still yet to see. I keep hearing good things about it. Everyone's telling me good things about it, so I hope to be able to see that very soon. Since I'm confessing to real life things, yes, of recent, the only thing for leisure when I'm not creating or working that I've been engaged in is watching Alice in Borderland. The third season just came out. Literally just 20 minutes away from the end of the last episode, so that's it. But once I'm done with that, I hope to be able to watch this K-pop movie and see what the hype is about. So yeah, I listened to Golden, and okay, just a quick song review. I know that this was just a quick candle in the wind video, but it can be as detailed as is necessary. Just a quick song review. Great vocals, powerful vocals, but the song itself is very, catch-all kind of. So yeah, lowest common denominator music is really just what's going to sell when everyone is developing their own niche, right? And people exist in subcultures of subcultures. So that's where I was heading to with drawing in Golden and The Ordinary into this conversation. Those types of songs are the only songs that can stay there. And I imagine that in comparison to previous hits, their numbers aren't even that great, or streaming is doing a lot of the compensation for sales, pure sales, radio, and all of that. So in comparison, number-wise, they're just like how you have vote splitting, all right? Many people are voting for X candidate, many people are voting for Y candidate, but somehow, because of the vote splitting, Z candidate wins, and that's how you have your Goldens and the Ordinaries. Because everyone builds their niche, and that brings me to another reason why I like streaming service X, because yes, when I'm in a pop mood, it tells me, the hits. I just play one pop song, it gives me all the pop hits. But also when it comes to my niches, kind of music that I'm like, okay, no, I want to listen to music today, right? It's going to give me a lot of things dynamically, both the things that I would like, but I just didn't think of, things that I liked and I hadn't thought to play or add to my queue, things that I like that I haven't heard, but upon first hearing them, I love. That's what I really like about streaming service X. Streaming service Y, once in a while, it gives me a great curveball, and I'm like, whoa, sometimes even greater than what streaming service X would offer, but rarely does it really like hit the nail on the head. But my candle in the wind is that ethically, if you can, as I stated, so if this is the only streaming service, right, and because as a society as a first world problem, essentially, although it's gone beyond first world now that piracy, when it comes to music, is effectively dead, from what I can see, if it's your only streaming service available, it would just be one of those sad things to continue to use. Like, you can use it with the awareness that, oh, how unfortunate that my subscription contributes to a nefarious situation. However, where there exists alternatives without any clear indications of nefarious activity, all right, and you can tolerate their output, their services, yes, their services pale in comparison to the one that you are migrating from. But the moral thing, I believe, is to migrate to the other service. Okay, especially when it isn't that bad. Like, the stream service wise isn't that bad, but it's a struggle for me. I wonder, especially on web. For mobile, I don't even touch X. I don't touch X on mobile. In fact, I hate X on mobile. But for web, and the fact that I work mostly on my laptop, straight switching to Y is going to be an issue. I'm sure how they do the, okay, I don't want to use the terms that the streaming services use, but you know how they do the summary, the annual summary, right? At the end of the year, showing you, okay, this is what you listen to, this was your vibe, this is what we recommend you listen to moving forward, and so on. And so at the end of the year, when they do the summaries and all of that, yeah, all those things really will show a stark difference for me, because I have barely touched streaming service Y in months now. I've been more on streaming service X, and it's really eating me up inside, because in my opinion, it's not exactly moral to actively contribute to nefarious activity when you have other options. So I will continually, I still have been, by the way, paying for both, but I think now it just has to come to a full-blown stop that I should not continue with X. I hope that Y will give me what I want eventually from what I expect streaming services to provide. And yes, but what do you think? My opinion is that it is immoral to support things, especially when there are alternatives. In the absence of alternatives, it's a painful compromise. It is a very, very painful compromise. Always acknowledge the gravity of the things that your money can support directly that you know of, because I'm not going to absolve Y of any guilt, okay? I'm not going to pretend that Y is the poster child company of good values and all of that. I have no doubt that Y also has its own slight controversies, but with X, it's becoming glaring. And it's becoming like, oh, okay, it is practical hostage funding. It is practical violent support using X at this point. So, yeah, I have to make a more conscious effort switching to Y, hoping maybe the whole what was the big thing? The whole recommendation system has gotten better, or maybe it was just in my head to begin with, but no, it wasn't in my head. No, the recommendations are so bad. I know why it has very good playlists, very, very good playlists, but they feel so static. They feel so static. They feel like they never change. It feels like they are just, okay, one playlist per genre, one main playlist per genre. So few, so hard to find. Okay? And then with X, it's a lot more fun. But I should also big one. I noticed, I don't know if it's in my head, but I noticed that with Y, my fans are working overtime, but with X, my PC just runs fine. And when it comes to hardware, I would prioritize hardware because I don't want to ruin my hardware, all right, in the name of ethics. I mean, ethics is important. Ethics is good. Morals are essential. But then again, I can't afford to have the morals if my hardware is bad. So if I notice stark impact on my hardware because of why, then I will switch or I will stay with X, unfortunately. Or I could consider using my phone, although using my phone really it's going to be difficult, but I'll try. And yes, so just at the end of this now, I'm asking you, what do you think? Is it moral to actively contribute to services that support nefarious activities that are not in alignment with your values and all of that? Just let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments what you think about this situation. This is me holding my candle in the wind. The wind will be your comments. I'll be reading through, I suppose. I hope to, unless maybe this video needs to be, I don't know. But I should be reading through to also get new perspectives. Just let me know if you like this conversation, if you like the topic of this recording, you could leave it a like. Then also for more discussions like this, I hope to be able to be consistent with this lineup that I've carved out. It's the first time that I'm doing a full everyday kind of upload, but then again, I am not facing much regret over it thus far, especially at the time that I do post the recording, so the timing is fine. Also, I hope you enjoyed the time lapse that you're watching, or if you weren't watching the time lapse, you came for the audio. I also hope you appreciated the audio. As I've said earlier, leave a like if you like this. Subscribe for more content like this. I hope to be able to produce more content like this. And yes, thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.